evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Katherine Reynolds, and I'm the Life Enrichment Director at Daybreak. Before we dive into our time together this evening, I just want you to know this is going to be short and sweet. We know you're busy and we value your time, and that is why we have kept this important message to under 30 minutes. At any time during or after our time together today, you can bid on our wonderful auction bundles or donate to support Daybreak at the link on this page. Mental health isn't something we talk about much as a society, and because of that, it's something that is poorly understood, and it can be surrounded by an enormous amount of shame and stigma. We can all find ourselves in seasons of poor mental health, even without a diagnosed mental illness. 2020 has been a year we are even more aware of this. Today, we want to take some time to break that silence and talk about some of the heartbreaking trends in mental health, specifically among teenage girls in our community, and talk about what can be done to build resiliency and to help them heal. Our Daybreak girls are struggling even more with loneliness, isolation, bullying, depression, distorted self-perception that can lead them down some truly devastating paths. Today, we're going to hear from our founder, meet Miss Washington for America, and get to know one of our amazing alumni, along with lots of other guest partners and experts. Up first, we want to introduce you to East Valley High School counselor Debbie Hill, who's going to speak about what teenagers are going through right now and how COVID is having an effect on their mental well-being.
A lot of needs are going unmet. Students are struggling right now. Learning is hard when you're at home, and that's a shift, and when all the supportive adults that you've ever been able to count on and rely on are within the school system, and you take that away from kids, you're seeing depression and suicide ideation, and kids are doing things to cope. We are definitely seeing a rise in self-harming behaviors. We're seeing a rise in use of drugs and alcohol just to kind of numb. The message, is you've got to teach yourself. You've got to, there's not a lot of adults around, and sometimes it's just really hard when you don't see the relevance, motivation, engagement. I think all schools are really struggling with how to keep kids engaged right now. And they're saying, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of this? Like, I don't even know why I'm going to school anymore. This is their formative years, so they really absolutely learn how to approach life. They are making decisions about their future right now. And if you have depression and anxiety that just paralyze your decisions and your thinking, it's really hard to make decisions about how much energy they want to put into academics, how much energy they want to put into future plans, and how much energy they want to put into their life. And that's the scary part. We have a lot of kids that are just not just disengaged from school, but kind of disengaged from who they are and their life and their future. This experience will mold what they do in the future, and they will be our next leaders. So let them know how much they were cared about. So that's their takeaway, is how important caring is. Far more important right now than maybe learning all of the book work that we have traditionally said is so important. They are important. They are more important right now than learning.
Now more than ever, showing our teenagers that we care about them and how they are doing is so important. In a study done in recent years, 1 in 3 youth in Spokane reported depression, and that was before COVID and quarantines and all of this isolation.
Daybreak is near and dear to our hearts as they're providing a service to the young women in our community that is greatly needed.
Daybreak Youth Services are the bridge of hope for the young teenage women in our area who struggle with mental health issues and drug addiction.
Daybreak has been just an incredible, devoted staff to us. They are meeting the needs of the most vulnerable in our community with personalized support.
I don't know who that is for you, but addiction has hit your family one way or another.
One of my students came here to receive treatment. And I came to visit her over spring break, and that's where I realized just how monumentally important the work of Daybreak is.
Daybreak provides a very necessary resource for our community here in the Northwest, and it's an honor to be a part of the life changes they make in their students.
Now more than ever, these types of services are so incredibly needed, especially for adolescents and young adults. We're living in very surreal and uncertain times, and it's so important to reach out to those in need and to create a strong sense of community support, especially for our young ones.
We look forward to continuing to serve and be a community partner with Daybreak.
So grateful to Daybreak and all of their partners. So keep up the great work and keep on giving.
No other organization in Spokane that fosters such a happy and healthy environment for these girls to overcome their obstacles.
It's so rewarding to know that we are all making a difference together in our community.
Daybreak, thank you for everything that you've done for me. Keep moving forward. Keep shining your light because the world needs you.
Lots of times mental health and mental illness are used interchangeably in our society, but they're really not the same thing. Everyone has a level of mental health, just like everyone has a level of physical health. When we talk about mental health, we're talking about our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects our emotions, thoughts, and feelings, our ability to solve problems and overcome difficulties, our relationships, and how we understand the world around us. And just like our environment can affect our physical health, it also impacts our mental health. Something that is felt by so many young women in our community, this year especially. Health isn't like an on-off switch. There are different degrees of health. Some people have serious health problems that last for a long time. Others have serious health problems that resolve very quickly. Most people are generally in good health, though the occasional problem may come up. Mental health is the same way. We had the opportunity to sit down with Karen Reynolds, Miss Washington for America, to talk about her own personal experience with mental health, the stigma that surrounds it, and her hopes for the future.
My name's Karen Reynolds, and I am Miss Washington for America 2019, and also the title holder for Miss Washington America, Miss Congeniality. Hours after I had won my title, my sister, who struggles with mental illness, had a psychological breakdown. That was my platform for pageantry, was overcoming the stigma of mental illness. It was something that I had experienced my whole life, as far as I can remember. As I got older, I realized there was so much more to this, and a lot of people had it. And I felt a lot of guilt knowing that I was too embarrassed to speak up. Therefore, there were probably many other people embarrassed to speak up. Many people who consider themselves normal or unnormal are experiencing this life-changing event that in our culture is still not normalized. And it's really unfortunate because people can't get what they need to get better if they can't even talk about it. Everybody's online. And so now not only do we have this normal mental headspace, but now we have a Photoshop headspace that's not even real. It's not even something you can compete with. And then you throw COVID into the mix, and we have this perfect storm. More than ever, suicide rates are up. If you look at statistics with young people now, since social media, it's gone up drastically. People are dying, and it's only going to get worse if we don't take it seriously. I hold Daybreak so close to my heart because without organizations like that, what we have is we have people without hope. It is a safe place for these women, young women, to go and to be heard. And then from there, they can start to grow. And it just helps the system so much better because instead of just putting a Band-Aid on it, it's actually taking them in and giving them love, right? And giving them stability and giving them outlets. They say, right, who you spend your time with is who you become. Well, what happens if you're born into a bad environment? Daybreak takes people who are perhaps in bad environments and gives them an environment that's different. And that environment is one of structure, right, of medical attention on a physical, mental level. It gives them, a lot of people, the only shot they may have in life. And where that helps the community out is if you can help someone figure out the tools to handle their issues, then you've given them the world. They can leave there, go into the workplace, get a job, and they know what they need to do in order to succeed. But without having these facilities, it's as good as the blind leading the blind. And so that's why it's so important for our community to take care of these Daybreak ladies, because we care about them as women, as sisters, as mothers. We want them off the streets. We want them to succeed. And we want to move them along into society so they can give back, and we want to help the next group. And so we're investing in our community if you invest in these women. Every time you invest in a young person, you're investing in your community.
For over 40 years, Daybreak has been in the Spokane community serving young people ages 12 to 18. These are young people who need someone to stand in their corner. They need intervention, tools, and coping mechanisms, but most of all, they need hope. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Bill Yakeley, the last living founder of Daybreak Youth Services.
I was out just driving the tractor around the circles and praying, giving the Lord thanks for allowing us to be stewards of His creation. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice that I'd never heard a voice like it. And it said, I want you to help the children. Lord, this is not, I don't know how to do what I think you're asking me to do. And I remember coming back after about 4 more revolutions around the field, and I heard that voice again. And it was, I will be with you. I didn't know what that really meant, but at least it was something that I could relate to. I'll be with you. So that was the birth of Daybreak. You know, I felt like if I could help maybe 5 or 6 people, that all this would have been worth the effort. But gee, you know, we're talking in the thousands, which I can see it, but I can hardly believe it. I don't think I'll ever forget this. I don't know if I could. But this young girl came up to me and she thanked me. She said, I have no family. Daybreak's been my family since I was 13 years of age. Now she's 17 and she's off to college. So, I'm sorry. It's hard to experience what some children have to experience because of drugs and alcohol and addiction. It's amazing the number of young people that need some help. It's a privilege to actually be a part of that. We know that God thinks that each one of those children are important and should not be wasted.
Daybreak offers the full continuum of care of services, which include inpatient, outpatient, suicide prevention, and a psychiatric care unit. Like we mentioned before, mental health, just like physical health, is something that everyone should be aware of. When it comes to seeking care, there is no one-size-fits-all. Some of our clients come from loving, stable, and caring families. However, many of them have lived through incredibly difficult circumstances. We've had clients that have been victims of sex trafficking, have been homeless, and have been involved in the foster care and juvenile justice system. And unfortunately, by the time these young ladies find us, the situation is often dire, with them resorting to substances to cope or trying to physically harm themselves. At Daybreak, we offer the kinds of services you'd probably expect, like individual and group counseling, but also fully accredited school where girls can work on their GED and earn high school credits. And perhaps most importantly, we help them discover their passions. The unfortunate reality is that many of these young ladies have lost hope. They no longer can see a future for themselves that they want to live towards. We help rekindle that, in part by incorporating a diverse range of activities into our schedule. The Life Enrichment program provides numerous activities like horseback riding, art therapy, yoga, river rafting, boxing, spin classes, Zumba, pottery, line dancing, cooking, karaoke, game nights. We do everything we can to expose these girls to activities and experiences that might spark a passion within them, all while showing them a glimpse of all that life has to offer. And it works. Nationally, only 50 to 65% of people seeking behavioral health treatment complete a program. At Daybreak, we're proud to say that our completion rate is oftentimes 90% or higher. Daybreak wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for our amazing partners in the Spokane community. They provide our girls with new adventures, fun activities, prom nights, and a new chance at life.
The short answer to what Daybreak means to me is that Daybreak changes lives.
We appreciate the ability to be able to serve with Daybreak. We love the program, and we look forward to many years ahead with a great partnership. There is so much hope and heart and just they're just amazing young women, and I have loved being able to serve with Daybreak as a staff, and then even now being able to come out to Embrace and be able to serve the girls even beyond when they leave treatment.
My favorite memory was when one of my girls told me that she doesn't believe that courage is the absence of fear, but instead it's rising in the face of it. And that is the most powerful thing that we will ever do.
I'm really thrilled to be working with the Daybreak girls. They're an incredible group. Truly, they're one of the most enjoyable group of athletes to work with.
You know, the girls could come in here and just kind of relieve some of that stress through exercise is, you know, just another healthy way to get rid of any frustration.
And not only do we get to be privileged to teach these girls our mission, we actually learn a great deal from them as well.
Daybreak is giving teenagers a chance to live radically different lives by equipping them with practical tools and client-specific medical plans.
Daybreak is a leader in this area, and the work that they do is an integral part of the health and well-being of teens in need of mental health and substance use disorder services.
Daybreak to me is a place where anything is possible.
We get back just as much from the experience, hopefully, as they do.
Our organization, along with Daybreak, really exists because of the kindness and generosity of this community. And we just want to thank you for your support in helping two really important organizations in Spokane.
I look forward to continue partnering with Daybreak in the future and offering more adventures for their students.
So every little bit given, whether it's a hug, whether it's finances to Daybreak or to the ministry, or whether it's tools or materials or resources, whatever, any help you can give is hugely impactful.
We're just really grateful for Daybreak and all that you do. So thank you, and we look forward to a great 2021.
We very much look forward to our continued relationship between our programs.
On behalf of Numerica Credit Union, we just want to say thank you so much to Daybreak for everything you do for our community and for girls who need a safe space for healing and for recovery.
From all of us here at Breast Intentions, Daybreak, we love you, and we can't wait to see our partnership thrive and expand into the future.
You're pouring into a life. You're investing in a life, and every life matters.
The staff here are so patient and understanding. One time I woke up in the middle of the night with a horrible nightmare, but somebody was there for me. Someone is always there for you.
This experience in itself has taught me that it's better to live sober than pretending that whatever I'm taking is going to make me feel better.
I felt hopeless before I came to Daybreak. They care for me so much. They're like family.
Without Daybreak, I seriously don't think I would be alive.
The young women we get to work with at Daybreak are truly amazing. I have seen girls come in so angry at life, the world, at themselves. I've seen girls completely defeated. And then I've seen tremendous growth. These girls want to improve. They want to heal. They want to change. They just need a chance. They need guidance, tools, and they need to feel that someone really cares. So now I want to introduce you to one of these truly remarkable young ladies we've had the privilege to work with. So here to share her story is Reagan.
Hi, I'm Reagan Cox. This is Maui, my emotional support cat, and I was at Daybreak for about 1.5 years. I'm getting a major in social work and a minor in criminal justice. I hope to become like a social worker and like help like children and like families and everything, because like that's something I feel very strongly about, is making sure like other people are happy. Originally my freshman year, I would smoke just about every day. I'd smoke before school, after school, during lunch, anytime I could. Started like going through my grandparents' painkillers, and I ended up taking their painkillers such as morphines and hydros and oxys during school, at school. Same thing I was doing with smoking, just like flipped it to painkillers. My grades were horrible my sophomore year, horrible. And I used to play volleyball, like school volleyball, club volleyball, and sand volleyball, and I completely dropped that. So honestly, when I think back to it now, it pretty much sucks and it hurts my heart that like I did all that and I threw away that much of like something that I loved for something that was only a short-term effect. So that's what led me to like going inpatient, like up until then. Obviously, like, you know, being the teenager that you are, you're like, I'm not doing any of that, like I don't need to go there. But in reality, like when I look back at it now, I needed that. I needed inpatient, 100%. Daybreak pretty much changed my life. Like it kept me busy, number one. Number two, it kept me from relapsing, because like I was constantly there. I was constantly like learning like the difference between right and wrong. But the fact that they like, I know that they love me, they truly do, and like that they want to make sure that I get the best in life, that's the thing that makes me like so happy. And that's what I really took out of Daybreak. Throughout Daybreak, about like, I want to say like 3 months in, I actually relapsed. And I ended up telling Lindsay because I felt so guilty. And then Lindsay's like, okay, well, like, I feel like you need to stay in here longer. And I was like, But knowing like that was the right thing to do, was staying in Daybreak longer. And she helped me really like figure out why I relapsed, like what was the reasoning behind it. And so when I did graduate, it just felt so good. It felt so amazing to be able to like know like I'm clean, I'm gonna stay clean, like I trust myself, I feel comfortable enough to leave this environment knowing like I'm gonna be okay by myself. They're the reason why like I'm probably here today, because if I wasn't in Daybreak when I got out of inpatient, then I probably would have relapsed, and if I would have relapsed, then like who knows if I would have like OD'd, if I would have woken up from that OD, if I would have been saved, if I would have just died straight out. Like that is always a possibility. If I didn't have Daybreak as like my comfort system and like my support, then I honestly don't know like where I'd be today. I wanted to volunteer for the Royal Closet, but Catherine turned it into an internship. They allowed me that opportunity, which is so cool. Like how would you expect like an inpatient facility to give you like such a big opportunity? It's like, I don't know, it just totally put my life like back on track. Like it helped me move forward with everything. And that's what I really liked. What's next for me is finishing out college, not relapsing, staying sober still, and becoming a social worker. I love Daybreak. I really do. Because Daybreak has helped me so much. Like, I don't think I'd be at Eastern right now if it wasn't for Daybreak. I don't think that I'd even be trying in school right now. So it just makes me really happy.
Reagan's story is like so many others in our community. As a society, we are in the midst of a mental health crisis among young women, and 2020 has only made things worse. Disruption of routine, being removed from supportive peer groups, spending more time in unhealthy homes, and all the additional stressors that have come with the pandemic, quarantine, and everything else that has happened this year. Unfortunately, the need for mental health services is only expected to increase in the coming years. We need to do a better job as a society asking what can be done to address the causes. But we also need to do what we can do to help the girls who are already in the midst of the suffering. Today you can help us do just that. It's not an overstatement to say that when you donate to Daybreak, you are not only changing lives, you're helping to save them. Just like young women like Reagan, who have battled addiction and mental health and found their new joy in life. It's not an accident that a program like Daybreak has grown up in the Spokane community. We're a group of people who care about our neighbors, who are quick to offer a helping hand, and who won't stand idly by as young girls in our community suffer, especially not when there's so much hope that can be offered to them. To help young ladies like Reagan, donate now on this page or on our website. Thanks to the CARES Act this year, 100% of your contributions are tax deductible. If you have any trouble or questions, please give us a call. Area code 509-444-7033. We're ready to help. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today and for your generosity. It really is people like you who make Spokane what it is. Your donations are changing lives forever and making this world a better place. A huge thanks to our sponsors for the event, Molina Healthcare, along with Numerica Credit Union and Columbia Bank. And if you're still deciding on what amount to donate, don't worry, it's not too late. You can donate by going to our website, daybreakyouthservices.org. And again, if you have any trouble with the donations or questions, please give us a call at 509-444-7033. We're here and ready to help.